Random thoughts. In this video, I'm going to talk about a coup against SIAD Barre, an attempted coup that happened in 1978. And we look at the document that was generated by the embassy in Somalia. And this document was sent to the Department of State and the embassy in Nairobi, explaining what was happening in Somalia. And there are two documents that I'm going to read about this attempted coup. The first one was generated at the time when it was going on, and then the other one was generated like a month later, trying to explain what actually happened. Now, this is a document that was generated on April 9th, 1978. The document is written, Department also pass on of Africa Collective, subject attempted coup in Mogadishu. And it reads, it appears now that SIAD has been successful in countering the attempted coup against him this morning. The attempt seems to have been started by some low-ranking officers at a camp north of the city. They attempted to seize control of the key points in Mogadishu but were routed by forces loyal to SIAD. Embassy Observer reports it's now quiet west of Mogadishu on the Afgoi Road, where earlier there was fighting and a number of casualties. Egyptian military attaché just returned from a circuit of the military camps and Ministry of Defense headquarters north of the city and reported remnants of the mutinous units are now being mopped up by loyal forces. Halim also told us he saw the Soviet ambassador this morning coming from a meeting with SIAD and looking very gloomy. Presidential aide Omar Salim phoned DCM at 8:30 and said President SIAD was in firm control of the government. Salim said that SIAD was in good health and the government was functioning. Of course, that's the document that was generated as this coup attempt seems like going on, but SIAD had managed to take much of the control at this point. And now we have a document that was generated about exactly a month later on May 8th, 1978. This is intelligence memorandum, and it's a document that was generated from Somalia, of course, from the embassy, and seems like it was trying to explain what actually happened on the 9th of April, 1978, giving details about the coup attempt. Now, the document is titled The Coup Attempt in Somalia, Background. And it reads, Somali President SIAD may have provided the catalyst for the abortive coup attempt of April 9th when he ordered the arrest and execution of a large number of officers who fought in the Ogaden campaign. Now, I say there were issues after the end of the Ogaden War, and the way SIAD dealt with that issue was to arrest some of the top officers he thought, or some of the officers he thought were creating the problem, and he had them executed. And of course, that created bad feelings within the ranks. And continues to say, SIAD was apparently attempting to head off potential troublemaking by officers embittered over the Somali army's defeat in the Ogaden. The purges began in earnest shortly after the withdrawal of the Somali regulars from the Ogaden in early March and reportedly involved officers primarily from clans in the northern and central Somalia. SIAD had long viewed the clans as contentious, disloyal elements. The clans, for their part, had for years bitterly resented the domination of Somali affairs by SIAD's own clan, the Maherans. Many of the officers targeted for elimination by SIAD were said to have been convinced that the Somali president used troops under their command as a cannon fodder in the Ogaden while deliberately keeping officers from his own clan out of dangerous combat zones. The leaders of the April 9th coup, the most important of whom were field-grade officers and veteran Ogaden troop commanders, came from these very same clan elements. They were motivated at least as much by long-standing ethnic animosities towards SIAD as by his disenchantment with SIAD in the aftermath of the Ogaden debacle, although they clearly hoped to capitalize on broader anti-SIAD feeling. There is no evidence that Soviets or pro-Soviet Somali elements were involved in this coup attempt, but the logic of the situation, as well as open Cuban broadcast, argues the Soviets and Cubans are working to overthrow SIAD. The coup collapsed quickly, it was ill-organized, and SIAD apparently had advanced knowledge of it, which permitted him to move against the instigators and thereby force them to show their hand prematurely. There are two lines that have not been declassified. The uprising was supposed to have begun in the northern city of Hargeisa, where disgruntled Ogadeni military returnees were assembled in strength. Instead, the first action taken in Mogadishu where pro-SIAD loyalists were deployed in the considerable numbers and in strong defensive positions. As a result, pro-SIAD troops were able to put down the revolt, which on the dissident side many have involved as many as 10 to 12 officers, 2,000 troops, and 65 tanks in less than 24 hours, although mopping up operations continue for some time thereafter. There have been no major disturbances in the Mogadishu area since the abortive coup attempt, and President SIAD has taken a number of steps to strengthen the impression that he is in control of the government. His departure for a scheduled week-long visit to China only 4 days after the revolt had been quashed argues either great confidence or fatalism. He is currently in Cairo on another official visit. SIAD security forces appear to have rounded up most of the coup plotters, including the Mogadishu-based ringleader of the uprising. SIAD there is a line that has not been declassified here, using the coup attempt as a pretext to remove against potential challengers and political enemies in the Somali government and security apparatus who, largely because they belong to the same clan elements that instigated the coup, are being accused of sympathizing with its objectives. On balance, however, the Somali leader is conducting his post-coup inquisition at a carefully measured pace, apparently out of fear that mass arrest and heavy-handed treatment of suspects might spark a major outbreak of clan warfare. Indeed, there have been reports of a series of disturbances in north-central Somalia in recent weeks that on the surface largely involve banditry, isolated shootings, and general unrest, but may stem from ethnic rivalries. Now, this is a document that was trying to explain what actually happened during the attempt of the coup. And this document basically gives us the foundation, we can say, of the issues that Somalia has faced since. And of course, SIAD was removed later on, maybe 12 years later. Those are my random thoughts.